Yeah, yeah, please. Sorry, sorry. I just check.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So it was one, as usual, another hectic day at the New York PepsiCo office. And Indra Nooyi was sitting in her office, working late in the night at about 9 o'clock. And she received a call from her then CEO, Stephen Reinman. And he called her up and said, Indra, we are going to announce you as the CEO and put you on the board of directors. So this year was 2006, and the news of Indra's promotion was one of the most remarkable developments of corporate America. She had become one of the only 11 female CEOs of Fortune 500 company. And this appointment was particularly extraordinary because there was only one non-white Fortune female CEO before her. It was a phenomenal accomplishment for Indra. And for this, she had faced a lot of barriers, and some of them being she was a migrant, a woman of color, a person of color, and a woman. In spite of all these barriers, she was able to reach this position. And she says that because being a woman, she had to work extra hard, more hours at work and more sacrifices. That's been her journey. And but when Steve broke the news to her that night, I'm sure she must have taken a deep breath and thought about her humble beginning in Chennai. So, can we have the second slide? Uh, Indira was born Indira Krishnamurthy on 28th October 1955 in Chennai. She was brought up in a very traditional Tamil Brahmin family. In spite of that, she was very independent and determined from a very young age. She was a member of an all girl cricket team. She played guitar, and her mother was her biggest teacher and coach. So, here I would like to share a video with you all and let us hear from her about her upbringing and her journey further on.
In the early 1970s, on a small stage tucked into the conservative Indian streets of Madras, electric guitars crunch out the chords to hits from the US and UK. Creedence Clearwater Revival, Clapton, Cream. The band is recognized citywide, not for its music, but for the same reason chaperones wait to take its guitarist straight home after the set. Because Indra Nooyi was a young woman, and she wasn't letting India stop her.
I used to climb trees. I used to scrape my knees. I played in a rock band. I played women's cricket. I have no idea how my parents allowed me to do it, but I was the son they never had until they had the son. So I was a rebel in every which way. So in South Indian Brahmin families, you do three things. You respect your elders, you study hard and get good grades, and then you get married at age 18 if you're a girl. Those are the three things you did. The studying hard was fine, respecting elders was fine, getting married at 18 was just not fine.
Nooyi went to college instead, majoring in chemistry, physics, and math before becoming interested in business management. Here she beat the odds, getting accepted to a university with only 10 seats for women because there were only 10 women's dorm rooms.
For a woman to get into business school was like getting a Nobel Prize.
After graduation, Nooyi joined Johnson & Johnson in India as the product manager in charge of launching a new line of feminine products. It was an impossible position. Indian laws banned any form of advertisement for women's products. Stores couldn't even put them on the shelves. After a year, Nooyi needed a change of pace.
You know, in the late 70s, the US was everybody's hope and dream to come to.
Intrigued by an article about the Yale University School of Management, Nooyi applied, and to her surprise, was accepted with a partial scholarship. But she had virtually no money, and at the time, India permitted its citizens to take only $500 beyond its borders, total, per person, for a lifetime.
I had to buy winter clothes. I'd used up $200 or $300 of it right there.
She supported herself in the US on minimum wage jobs, and with no suit, wore her sari to interviews with high-powered firms. In 1994, Nooyi was so highly sought after that Jack Welch from General Electric went up against PepsiCo in a bid for her. When Welch told PepsiCo CEO Wayne Calloway that Nooyi had accepted GE's offer, Nooyi got a humbling phone call from Calloway asking her to reconsider.
The humility with which he talked to me touched me. And at that moment, I said, Wayne, I'm joining PepsiCo.
Nooyi was an instant success. Sensing a consumer shift toward healthy products, Nooyi helped orchestrate a series of headline-grabbing mergers that helped PepsiCo shift its business model away from unhealthy food choices. The strategy was so successful, the board named her CEO in 2006. It was the right choice. Just 2 years later, in 2008, she saw the company safely through the financial crisis. That same year, Forbes named her the third most powerful woman in the world. With Nooyi in charge, PepsiCo expanded globally into a provider of healthy food options. Under her, the reimagined company's sales grew by 80%, almost tripling its annual net profit from $2.7 billion to $6.5 billion.
I mean, if I told you that it was smooth sailing all the way, I'd be lying. Lots of challenges, people questioning what my background was, why should I even be in PepsiCo in such a senior position, why I was so outspoken, and what's with this woman, a lot of stuff like that. But I didn't care about that. I was getting paid to do a job, and I was going to do the job. And I was going to do it better than anybody else. That's the end of it.
After more than 2 decades of unrivaled success, Nooyi stepped down as CEO in 2018. The PepsiCo she leaves behind flickers with the flame of the old Madras rock guitarist. Today, more women occupied senior positions than ever before. On-site daycare centers bring employees closer to their families. And most important to Nooyi, with new community outreach and environmental programs, PepsiCo has purpose.
So that is that woman, the woman of steel. Surya, I think you have.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome
Hello.
to NYU Stern.
Hello. Yeah, right. Thank you. So her rise is peppered with life lessons, some of which I'll share with you today. To begin with, she had an infectious resolve and an all consuming passion for her work. And she based the blueprint of her life on a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King, which says, don't just get out to do a good job, set out to do such a good job that the living, the dead, or the unborn couldn't do it any better. So she says that she looked at her job not as a job, but as a calling, as a passion. And she was involved in it with her head, heart, and hands. And she always raised the bar. As a leader, she said, as a leader, I'm tough on myself. And because of which I raise the standard of everybody around me. And in order to keep her to keep fueling her passion, she devised the 5C model, and which goes like this. The next slide, please. Surya, the next slide, please.
I'm trying 1 minute.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
So the first C being competence. And she suggested developing a hip pocket skill. This was one word which I came across while reading about her, which meant that meaning a skill you become so good at that you are seen across the organization as an expert at it. She says that her own hip pocket skill was the ability to make the complicated things very simple. Then next came the confidence and courage, and they go hand in hand together. She says that you have to stand up and speak out for your passion based on the knowledge. So you need both confidence and courage to do that. The third one was the communication skills. And she says both written and oral communications are extremely important because as a leader, you constantly have to mobilize the troops. And she says, in the digital world, people think texting and tweeting is plenty, but it is not so. Because you've got to be able to stand in front of your employees and get them to go places where they never thought they could be. And the fourth one is consistency. And she says it is very important for leaders to be consistent. Maintaining a consistent plan of action will build your employees' confidence in you and will allow them to trust your instincts. And the last one being compass. And she said that your compass should be always pointing true north. By this, she meant that you have to hello.
I'm taking care of it. Please don't worry.
Thank you. And she's by this she meant that maintaining integrity despite all temptations, the act of not straying from the path of honesty, will build the strength of character and professional credibility, which is of utmost importance. Then we come to her vision, and she says that everyone must have a very clear and compelling vision. She quotes from a book of Proverbs, which says, "Where there is no vision, people perish." So her vision for PepsiCo was encapsulated in a concept called performance with purpose. Let's understand more clearly what she meant by performance with purpose with this video. So, Surya, please play the video.
You introduced 3 words in 2010 to the PepsiCo vocabulary of performance with purpose. Do a paragraph on that.
Go back to those 3 trends, shifting the health and wellness trends, the environmental trends, and the fact that we had to create a different environment for our people. I also realized something else that was going on. As we surveyed our employees, every one of them were looking for a purpose, something in life that made them feel good about the company. Remember, we don't make life-saving drugs. We don't provide technology that changes your life. We make fun products. So we wanted to give people a real purpose why coming to work at PepsiCo was the greatest thing. So what we did is we said, why don't we make the shifting of the portfolio, offering more nutritious products, offering more grains, offering more fruit and vegetable offerings, really becoming an environmentally conscious company and creating an environment in PepsiCo where everybody can bring their whole self to work. Part of the agenda as to how we make money, not how we spend the money, how we make money. And that got encapsulated in these 3 words, performance with purpose. It all starts with performance. We want to deliver the greatest financial returns, but we want to deliver those profits while we transform our product portfolio, worry about the planet, and worry about our people. And that was simply performance with purpose. And the fundamental difference between corporate social responsibility and performance with purpose is that performance with purpose is about how we make the money, not how we spend the money that we make. So if we don't transform our portfolio, we cannot make profits. If we're not environmentally sustainable, we won't get a license to open a plant, and we won't reduce the cost of our packaging. And if we don't create a phenomenal workplace for our people, we won't be able to hire the best and the brightest. So our purpose became how we deliver the profits. Too often, I think people confuse purpose with corporate social responsibility, which is a problem because you could run the company anyway and then just do a charity program in some country and then feel good. That's corporate social responsibility. To me, that's like going to confession after you've made a mistake. I think what we are talking about is weave purpose into how you run the company, into how you make money. Then it's a sustainable model. And that's what performance with purpose is all about.
Talk with me about where.
Next slide, please.
Yeah.
So, right, product. So we heard what she mentioned in the video about transforming the portfolio of PepsiCo, and she introduced 3 categories in the product line, which she called as Fun for You, which included the regular Pepsi and the colas; Better for You, which was the diet Pepsis and less of trans fat and less of sodium; and the third was Good for You, which included all the healthy products of like juices and oats, and Gatorade and these kind of things. So next, please. Surya, next slide, please.
Yeah. It's good.
So keeping in, she was that very upbeat. She has a strong sense of giving back to society, and so because of which she introduced ways and means to reduce water, reduce waste, conserve water, and use renewable energy. And so I'm told that even PSPD does a lot about conserving water, saving water, and has got many awards in this regard. And PSPD also, the 50% of electricity being used in PSPD comes from the renewable sources. Now we come to the people that she's. One more thing I want to share, right? Just before I start with the people, I want to share that on personal front also, she's um, uh, she believes very strongly about giving back to society, and she had come last year to Chennai, and she donated 1 crore of rupees to her alma mater, Madras Christian College, on her own accord. And taking a cue from there, even our respected Silvers have created a scholarship fund for the students of Bhadrachalam Public School, which is a very commendable act. Now we come to the people, how she treasured the people in PepsiCo. So she says that you have to acknowledge employees and their families in a creative and personal ways. And she goes back to her incidents from where she learned this. When she was made the CEO in 2006, she came to meet her mom. She came to Chennai to meet her mom, and then her mom told her one day, "Be ready and be ready by this such and such time tomorrow, because lots of people are going to come and meet you." And she was all ready and sitting and waiting for the people to come. When the people walked in, they all just said a hello to her, but they went up to her mother and congratulated her and showered praise on her, saying that kind of person that she is raised. So this gave her this great idea. She went back to the US and she started writing letters to the parents of the company's executives, thanking them. And she started even writing letters of appreciation to the spouses. And who would not feel great to receive a letter from the CEO of a company praising their son, daughter, wife, husband? So this was the way she was treasuring the people in PepsiCo. Then she says that we have to give employees a very clear and explicit purpose. Giving employees a clear sense of shared purpose is a wonderful retention tool. And the next point that she shares is that the employees should be given more autonomy and influence within the company. She gave her employees the freedom to solve problems creatively. So employees in PepsiCo around the world are empowered to invent local flavors of the Lay's potato chips. And it makes them feel very empowered. Then she says that employees, we have to make sure that the employees can bring their whole selves to work with inclusive benefits and opportunities. So she says that we don't want them to just make a living, but also have a life. And for this, she has given her employees lots and lots of facilities like flexi time, daycare centers, and generous paternity and maternity leaves. Here, I'd also like to add about a very vivid experience of mine when I was studying in Bhadrachalam Public School. Uh, when I joined school, I was in the 5th grade, and as and when I kept passing, the classes kept increasing. And when we reached the 10th standard, we were four students, in fact. I was one of the girls, and there were three boys. And due to certain legalities, our school was not the center for the 10th board, ICBSE board. So we were given the center in Hyderabad. That was Army Public School in Sanikpuri, Hyderabad. So the company took us to Hyderabad, all of us, all the four of us, and my mother accompanied me. Me being the only girl, my mother accompanied me, and we stayed in the Begumpet guest house for the entire tenure of our exam. It was nearly 20-25 days that the exam happened, and we were all staying there throughout. And moreover, apart from this, every time one exam finished and before the next could start, that particular subject teacher was there with us, coming all the way from Bhadrachalam and being with us till the exam got over and then going back. That is the kind of warmth I've experienced in BPL, and it is always overwhelming to speak about it. Can we have the next slide? And so she's been awarded with lots and lots, and the most important being the Padmabhushan she received by the President of India in 2007. She's been consistently ranked in Forbes' list of 100 most powerful women. Fortune magazine ranked her as first woman in business, number one woman in business consecutively for 5 years from 2006 to 2010. And apart from that, she has had many university conferring honorary degrees to her. So, with all this, how does she create this work-life balance? And here again, I will recount an incident which she has quoted many times. In 2000, when she was made the president of PepsiCo, um, she went back home all eager and excited to tell. At that time, her mom was living with her in the US, and she wanted to go home and tell her mom this great news. It was about 10 o'clock in the night. She reached home and she found her mother waiting at the door. And she told her mom, Mom, I have got some great news for you. And she said, the news can wait. First, go and get some milk for me. So she said, why milk at this time? So she said, no, I need it for tomorrow morning and you better go and get it. So she went, got the milk and came back, and she banged that milk bottle on the table, and she was very angry. And she said, I had some great news for you, and all you can think of is asking me to get milk. And then her mother said, whatever the news is, it can wait. Wait. Once you step inside the house, you are first a daughter-in-law, a wife, and a mother. So leave that crown behind. Don't bring that crown inside the house. And that has remained a very important lesson in her life. So, though she made quite a few sacrifices to reach where she was, but she's been always a good daughter, a good sister, good wife, and she has lived through all phases of her life with utmost glory. She has never compromised on her values for this. So now we talk about her life after PepsiCo. So for starting, Indira Nooyi is now serving as a member of board of directors at Amazon. And her move to join Amazon was praised by many as it took the percentage of women on its board up to 45%, a new high for the industry. And an area that is very close to her heart is getting more women onto the top echelons of management. And she really wants to do that by mentoring them, coaching them, guiding them, and always being there for them. And she is also writing a book, especially for the women, and which is not about the business leadership skills and things like that, but about the work-life balance that a woman can maintain in her life. So I close this story by saying that Indira Nooyi is an exemplary woman and a very courageous soul. Her story is one of pride, determination, and strength, and she has proved that it is the biggest power on earth to be a woman. And thank you so much for your patient listening. Now the floor is open for discussion.
If anyone want to speak, they can unmute and speak. I'll request Pradeep sir to start.
Great, Namratha, great presentation.
Thank you so much.
You really, I mean, we all know about Indira Nooyi, but you brought out the nuances of, how to balance the personal life and professional life, even after you have reached the pinnacle of success. So that was a great, inspiring story. And see the parallel, between taking care of employees how it works, whether it is in small companies like Lakshmi was mentioning yesterday, or into mega corps like PepsiCo. It's a great lesson for everybody in corporate life, that take care of your employees, and employees will take care of customers, and that will take care of profits. So
Yes.
that's a great learning. But I have a question. You mentioned you are in MICE area.
Yes.
Now, many of the, I know what MICE is because I'm connected with ITC hotels. Can you explain for others' benefit what MICE is and what exactly you do in that field?
Yes. MICE is an acronym for meetings. M stands for meetings, I is for incentive, C is for conferences, and E is for exhibitions and events. So we are into corporate incentive travel, where companies like ITC, when they send their um, dealers, distributors for a as a reward of for having achieved their targets. So we organize these for the companies, whoever want to do that. Even for employees within the company, and the franchise network in both sectors.
Okay.
And we do organize conferences, exhibitions, as and when it comes to us. So
Very good. And how large is your organization? How many employees?
it is a medium
Yeah.
enterprise with 10 employees right now.
Okay. Okay.
So, but we've done quite a few projects with Tatas, and
And typically, each of these events, what is the minimum and maximum range?
it starts with 50 people. It goes up to 300 also.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Even
Okay.
for like international incentive travels, we have handled 100 to 200 groups.
Oh, wow.
100
Okay.
people of 100 to 200 groups. That group
Okay.
sizes we've had.
And you take care of only the logistics, travel, hotel booking, etc., or even the programs? Sometimes they have management development programs, so you develop that as well.
We do that as well. Though we do some in-house and some we outsource also, the management
Of
development
course.
programs.
Of course.
But
Of course.
the reward and referral programs, and the gala nights and stuff like that,
Right.
all
Right.
that we do that. We do all
Okay.
that.
Great. Great. Compliments.
Thank you
Compliments. Huh?
so much. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Anyone has any questions? Barla garu is raising his hand. Barla garu?
Yeah, Surya, may I start?
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, congratulations, Namratha, Nikki, for this wonderful presentation. You have brought out so many nuances of a corporate leadership through the life and mission of Indira Nooyi. I'd like to share one incident we encountered with Indira Nooyi when she came to Madras in 2018.
Sorry to interrupt, but your volume is very low.
Uh,
Yes, sir. You speak louder. That's sufficient, I believe.
is it?
Yeah, better.
It's breaking in between. Please speak louder.
Yeah. I was congratulating Nikki for her wonderful presentation and lot of nuances of Indra Nooyi's life and mission that you brought out. It's really a great experience to be here. Congratulations. Now, I'd like to share one small experience I had with Indra Nooyi when she came to Madras Christian College, Chennai, where I was the director of a business school they were going to start. So she came and she wanted to meet new appointee, who is Dr. Barla, she called. So I was summoned there and I went there. And when I went, she shook hand, and then I said, thank you very much for this 1 crore, 1.2 crore donation for our chemistry lab. And then we have miles to go. I said, oh, you have many miles to go to build your business school. All the best for you, she said. Then I said, Indraji, tell me one factor that I have to take care in building this institution. She said, people. Everything else falls in place once you take care of people. Technology is made by people, money is created by people, money is made to run by people, and so on. It's the people. And I draw a similarity in Bhadrachalam paper board, the brief period that I worked. It is a focus on people and their excellence, their productivity, and reaching out to their families and their development, which caused the development of such a huge, gigantic enterprise. So that wonderful experience, and it's unforgettable. Later on, her sister, Chandrika Tandon, came and she gave 6 crores of rupees to build our business school. And the business school is almost ready for launching. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
That is
Over to you,
wonderful.
sir.
Nice to know, sir, that you shook hands with great Indira Nooyi.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I want to send your presentation to Indira Nooyi. Nikki, send me this presentation. Maybe
Yes.
after makes the video also, I would send it to Madras Christian College principal. He would forward it to Indira Nooyi, and she'll be happy to look at this and all your appreciation for her and our congregation and so on. I'd like to do that once I get all this. Thank you very
Sure.
much.
Sure.
That's a wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much.
We will arrange, sir. Now, Mr. Basu wants to speak. Bhaskar Garu, you can unmute, or I'll do that. Yeah, please speak.
Congrats, Namratha. This is a wonderful thing which you brought out of Nooyi, because you know that although we have just been seeing in YouTube and videos, but as everybody said, the more detailed thing, in-depth knowledge about her, how she grew from where to where, it was something wonderful. Thanks for that. And in fact, for everybody, I have in my own, house, I have a parallel case like Nooyi. It's my wife,
Oh, wow.
which maybe if something, some one day, if I get a time, then I can just share it with you if everybody prefers to know about it, because it is a similar case of from where she has started and how become in a professional career, how she went up to no, when before she took took her retirement. I would like to share it if there is an opportunity given to me.
Basu,
Thank
we
you.
want to hear from her, not from you.
No, I will have to then prepare herself. That's a problem. She's so shy a person that it's a thing. Maybe that I keep her by the side and then I can talk. That's,
Oh,
that's what I
okay, okay, okay.
No, that is, it's all subject to thing, everybody's thing, or I can just put it over in a thing,
No,
actual sometime. And
we'd love to
I
hear.
think
We would love to hear.
okay, we will fix it up some other time, sir. Thank you very much for that thing. Thank you.
Yeah, anyone else want to speak? Hari sir?
Prema madam wants to say something.
Yes, continue.
Congratulations, Namratha. It was a very good one.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wherever
Thank you, auntie.
wherever Varmaji is there, he'll be too happy today.
I was
And
thinking
I'll
the
call your
same
mom
thing.
to congratulate to have such a wonderful daughter.
Thank you so much. I
You
was
made us
thinking
all
this.
proud. And today only I'll talk to Manjuji and tell her our experience in listening to you.
Thank you
sweet
so
of
much.
you.
No,
Very
it's been such a delight. And I was thinking the same, that today morning, that if my dad was here, you'd have been so happy.
Yes. Swarnagar, I'll come to you 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. Hari sir, you started, please.
Yeah, yes, Suri, thanks for organizing another wonderful session. And thanks, Namratha ma'am, very, very inspiring session of life story of Indira Nooyi. See, one challenge all of us face, especially in the senior management level, is the time management. So how case studies like Indira Nooyi handle very inspirational, and we are able to get inspiration from all those things. And also the tips what you were saying, you have to be perfect, and you can also demand perfection from others and do it something the initial quote
Yes.
better than anybody else could do in the in the future also. So very, very inspiring thoughts. Thank you so much for this session.
My pleasure.
I really loved it. Thank you. And I am now in Bhadrachalam, so a lot of challenges on the current leadership of Bhadrachalam to maintain the legacy. So we will try to do that. We'll try to continue.
You were
that.
in Bajaj.
I am now.
Wow. Wonderful.
Yeah, sir. Swarnagar.
And incidentally, my wife.
That's another story, Hari. That's another story of sacrifice, Hari.
No, so probably 20 years back, if we were to listen to the stories, we would have managed to. I'm not too.
No, then we would have lost you.
Probably, I know you.
We are selfish for the organization, you know.
Probably, you know the inside story well. But it is. Thank you,
It's
sir.
a choice.
Thank you.
Everybody has to make a choice in life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
I know.
I would like to speak. Can I speak?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Prakash.
Namratha, excellent presentation. It was a professional job.
Thank you, sir.
Done. And what I learned from you, just like her mother told her that once you step in, you are first daughter, mother, wife, sister, and whatnot. I think the same message should be told to all gents also. They are son, father, brother, okay, and husband. And
I support you fully. I support you fully in that.
So that is my take. I'm going to tell my people and my family and my friends, this is the something wonderful I learned today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Before I ask Swarnagaru, I have a small announcement that once it is disconnected, please use the same link to connect back. We have vote of thanks left to be given. Swarnagaru, over to you.
Wonderful session, Namratha.
Thank you.
Congratulations for this presentation and thank you. And congrats for your success also, being an entrepreneur. And talking about Indira Nooyi is hers is an inspirational story, as we all know, because she is in the Forbes list also. I read some points of her that she sacrificed many things in her life to get this position. Her husband also sacrificed many things. I read a letter of her daughter. 4 years old her daughter was. Then she wrote that, "Please come home, mommy. We want to spend time with you." And it was really a very heart-touching and emotional letter written by her daughter. But that is how she made a choice, whether she was career-oriented or she has to spend time with her family. So she balanced out well with her husband's support, and he also sacrificed even his career to some extent for her. And she kept on jumping into many companies, and finally she got a good offer as a CEO in PepsiCo. In PepsiCo industry, like where she got in good healthy foods. She removed some of the unhealthy diets, and that's how she became even more famous. And she